Imagine a man who walks into every conversation pretending he knows nothing, asking innocent questions, smiling gently, and yet, by the end of it, has left everyone speechless, their beliefs exposed and their assumptions shattered. He never claims wisdom, yet always seems to have the last word. He appears humble, but there's a sharp, deliberate intelligence lurking beneath the surface. This man is Socrates, and his secret weapon? Irony, but not the sarcasm or comedy we usually associate with irony today. Socratic irony is something deeper, more philosophical, a calculated unknowing that becomes a mirror, revealing the limitations of others' certainty. Today, we're diving into the rich and subtle art of Socratic irony, exploring how it operates in Plato's dialogues, and why it still matters in the 21st century. Welcome to the unfolding journey, where we explore the timeless ideas that have shaped human thought across centuries. This is a space for seekers of wisdom, clarity, and deeper understanding. Whether you're a philosophy student, an armchair thinker, or just curious about the foundations of our intellectual heritage, you're in the right place. Let's begin. At its core, Socratic irony is the technique Socrates used to engage his interlocutors, often by pretending ignorance in order to expose their ignorance. It's the art of feigned humility in the pursuit of truth. When Socrates says, "I know that I know nothing," he isn't merely being modest. He's using that admission as a rhetorical tool, an opening move in a strategy designed to provoke, unravel, and reformulate. He sets up a kind of intellectual ambush, but one that's not meant to humiliate, at least not entirely, but to awaken. Socratic irony is educational, not just rhetorical. It aims at transformation, not domination. Unlike modern debates, where the goal is often to win, Socratic dialogues aim to deepen, to challenge assumptions and push the boundaries of understanding. Let's take a closer look at some of Plato's dialogues to see how this irony unfolds in practice. 1. The Euthyphro, who really knows piety. In Euthyphro, Socrates encounters a man confidently marching to court to prosecute his own father for impiety. Euthyphro claims to know exactly what piety is. Socrates, of course, claims he does not. He begins with a simple request. What is piety? What follows is a series of shifting definitions, each more strained than the last. Euthyphro offers answers. What the gods love, what is just, and so on, but Socrates always finds a contradiction or a gap. Not by offering his own theory, but by asking questions that expose the weaknesses in Euthyphro's confidence. Socrates never says you're wrong. He lets Euthyphro arrive at that conclusion himself. That's Socratic irony, the performance of ignorance that gently peels back layers of false certainty. The result? Euthyphro leaves in frustration, and Socrates is no closer to a definition of piety. But the point isn't to win the argument. It's to show that wisdom begins with recognizing our own ignorance. 2. The Apology. Irony meets the courtroom. In the Apology, Socrates defends himself against charges of corrupting the youth and impiety. Here, his irony is more pointed. He tells the jury that he is wiser than others only because he knows he is not wise. It sounds self-deprecating, but it's also deeply confrontational. He is, in effect, accusing his accusers of being both ignorant and arrogant. He recounts how he questioned poets, craftsmen, and politicians, all of whom thought themselves wise. By asking seemingly naive questions, Socrates revealed that their expertise was narrow and their confidence unwarranted. His irony, in this case, is a philosophical scalpel, not meant to mock but to cut away illusion. The tragedy of the Apology is that this irony is misunderstood. The Athenians see disrespect where there is inquiry. They see arrogance where there is humility. And so, Socrates is sentenced to death, not for his teachings, but for the discomfort they cause. 3. The Meno, learning through paradox. In Meno, Socrates is asked whether virtue can be taught. Meno, like others, offers ready-made definitions. Again, Socrates feigns ignorance, poking holes with innocent questions. At one point, Meno gets frustrated and accuses Socrates of being like a torpedo fish, one that stuns people into confusion. Socrates smiles, agreeing that his questions do seem to paralyze. But his purpose is not to destroy knowledge. It's to make people aware that what they think they know may not be knowledge at all. What follows is one of the most fascinating parts of the dialogue. Socrates demonstrates the concept of anamnesis, or learning as recollection, using a slave boy. Through only questions, the boy is led to discover a geometrical truth he'd never been taught. This is the heart of Socratic irony. The teacher pretends to know nothing, yet reveals knowledge in others. It's not transmission, it's transformation. In today's world, saturated with opinions, debates, hot takes, and echo chambers, the spirit of Socratic irony is more important than ever. We often reward certainty over curiosity, performance over truth-seeking. Socratic irony disrupts this pattern. It reminds us that real wisdom begins in not knowing, in humility, in openness, in dialogue. But more than that, Socratic irony is a call to slow down, to question not just the answers, but the questions themselves, to notice where we cling to beliefs and why. In a time of polarization and intellectual posturing, irony, real Socratic irony, is a form of intellectual resistance. Not through sarcasm, but through sincerity. Not by attacking, but by gently unraveling. Socratic irony is subtle and easily misunderstood. Some critics, even in antiquity, accused Socrates of being manipulative or evasive. And in some dialogues, there's a genuine question about whether his irony crosses into mockery. But Socrates isn't mocking for the sake of ego. His goal is not to show that others are foolish, but to show that we all are, and that acknowledging this is the first step toward genuine wisdom. Plato's portrayal of Socratic irony reminds us that philosophy is not just a matter of logic or definition. It's a way of life, one grounded in honesty, humility, and a deep respect for the process of questioning. Beyond its use in debate, Socratic irony remains a powerful teaching method. In modern education, the Socratic method, rooted in this form of irony, is still used in law schools, seminars, and critical thinking courses. The teacher asks, not tells. The student discovers, rather than receives. Knowledge is not handed down, but drawn out. In this way, Socratic irony becomes more than a technique. It becomes a form of empowerment. It teaches students, and all of us, that the journey to truth begins with the courage to admit we don't have all the answers. So how do we bring Socratic irony into our own lives? It begins with a posture of curious humility, a willingness to question, to listen, to hold our beliefs lightly. It means resisting the temptation to pretend certainty in a world that rewards it. It means embracing the discomfort of not knowing, not as weakness, but as strength. It means having conversations that aren't about winning or proving, but about exploring. About allowing the truth to emerge slowly between people through patience and genuine inquiry. Socratic irony is not just a technique, it's a mindset. One that honors mystery. One that welcomes the unknown. In the end, Socratic irony is a paradox. The man who claimed to know nothing helped shape the very foundations of Western philosophy. The man who asked questions changed how we answer them. Socrates reminds us that real understanding is not in what we assert, but in what we ask. That transformation begins not in teaching others, but in inviting them to discover for themselves. So next time someone claims to know the truth, ask, gently, humbly, sincerely, "What do you mean by that?" You may not get a final answer, but you might just begin a better question. If this journey into Socratic irony opened up new ways of thinking for you, we invite you to continue exploring with us here at The Unfolding Journey, where every question is a door to deeper insight. Subscribe to the channel for more content on philosophy, spiritual wisdom, and the art of mindful inquiry. Like the video if you found value in it. And comment below, what question has changed the way you see the world? Until next time, keep asking, keep unfolding, and remember, the wisest person in the room might just be the one asking the questions.